Hey everyone, this is Ian Ager. You listen to the Top 20% Podcast. This is episode 12. I have a special guest on the show. It's going to be juicy, lots of tips. Let's get it started. Hi everyone, you know me. My name is Ian Ager. I'm the host of the show, the Top 20% Podcast. This is a show for ambitious sales professionals where you'll get actual advice and tips you can use to apply to your career to take to the next level. This is a really good show. I'm excited. On the show today, we have Michael Marfetan. He's an account representative at Clio. He's only been in Clio for 7 months, and he's hit quota multiple times, crushing it. I'm just honored to have him on the show. Michael, welcome to the show.
Hey, Ian. I honestly just want to start off by saying thank you for having me. It's been a great 7 months so far, continuing the journey. And yeah, honestly, I'm honored to be here. And I'm really excited about taking some time out today to speak.
Thank you. Yes, and thank you for your time. I know you're a busy guy. So let's just get at it. Let's add some value for people. The first question I want to ask you, Michael, is what are 3 things you believe have contributed to your consistent top sales performance at Clio?
So narrowing it down to 3 things is definitely kind of a challenge for anyone, just because, in my belief, it takes a lot of different aspects to become good at something. And for sales, I feel especially, you're having to deal with not only a lot of different aspects of your performance, but also you're dealing with a lot of tools you're using to help you. So being adept and being good at all those different aspects, as well as being a good salesman, good at doing your demos, discovery, cold calling, there's really a lot. But generally, when I was thinking about it, the top 3 things that stood out to me were hard work, consistency, and the willing to and kind of mindset to always learn. When you want to go in, at least for myself, I thought that getting into sales honestly was not the first thing on my mind. How I kind of started my career path, so to speak, was that I actually wanted to get into pharmaceutical sales or something like medical device sales, because I have a background in mainly biology from Western. So with that, I was thinking at first the whole research route. I went and I got a job at a company called Corteva. They're one of the bigger agricultural companies. I did research for a summer. Before that, it was strictly just jobs that were all manual labor. I've done sodding, interlocking, you name it, right? Good jobs to get paid, but not so good jobs to work, the best muscle in the body, which is my opinion is your brain, right? So from there, I have no sales experience. So before joining Clio, I've never really had a formal sales job ever in my life, right? From school, it was like the research job. I graduated in May, and then the 3rd week of May, I started at Clio. And the reason why I actually even found out about Clio is because once I started my search for, those different pharmaceutical jobs and medical device sale jobs, no one was taking me. No one was picking me up. And I really thought about not only my strategy on how I'm approaching it, but also who I'm approaching, right? These guys, they weren't giving me a chance. Again, I realized that because I have no sales experience. So from there, I really had to kind of think outside the box. What do I do next? And I started going on things like Reddit, forums, seeing kind of what other good sales jobs are out there. And that led me to kind of SaaS in general. So I started researching, send my resume out to the big names, Google, Microsoft, Deloitte, Oracle, those type of things. And still not that much traction. So I knew something needed to change. And, I couldn't, get a sales job at that point because I was still in school, still working to finish my exams, my studies. So I thought maybe my approach should change. So what I started doing is going on LinkedIn. I think I created my LinkedIn profile, honestly, that last semester of school. And I got on, I started adding, all my friends, all the people I knew, family members, whatever. But then I went and looked at the LinkedIns of people in some of the companies I was applying to, and I started cold messaging people. Back then, I didn't even know what cold messaging was or cold emailing was at all. I didn't even know about the concept. But I started doing that, and I didn't get too many responses. It's funny because I mostly try to go after like the top people at the company, and I was like, okay, I got to change it. So I went after kind of top reps and had a few good calls, some people giving me recommendations, telling me how to fix my resume up if I get an interview, which was really great because it gave me a lot of not only insight into the different steps it takes to even get a SaaS job, but also it grew my network. And so from there, I spoke to someone. He was I believe, an OVP of sales here, and he now is a VP of sales at Salesforce. And I talked to him. I told him my story. I applied to Salesforce, and he said, Michael, we honestly don't hire anyone straight out of university, let alone no sales experience, minimum 2-3 years for the first job you can get there. Which again, it's that whole backwards thing. How am I going to get an entry-level job that requires 2-3 years of experience, whatever it may be? And he said, that's the case, but where else are you applying to? And I told him a few names, and eventually he was like, check out Clio. They're actually applying now, interviewing now. They have some postings. Go take a look at them. And then that's really kind of how it started in not a nutshell. I've been talking for a little while now, but you know what I mean.
No, that's awesome. I'm glad that you're opening up. That's a great story. Tell me more about the Clio interview and having no experience, and obviously you got the job and you're crushing it. So there must have been something they saw in you that made them take a chance on you with no experience. Do you know what that is, or is it just, tell me more about that?
Honestly, I've never asked. It's actually a good question I should bring up to our director here and some of the people who interviewed me. It'd be really fun to ask them now kind of what made them hire me, right? But I was really honest through the whole time. I really harped on the fact that even though I have no experience, I'm a smart guy. I'm going to work hard at whatever it is that I have to do, and I really just wanted a chance, right? Wanted to get my foot in the door. And, regardless of why they hired me in particular, it could be for any rich reason. The point is they gave me a chance. And I think for people out there trying to get a sales job, whether you have experience or not, you should never get discouraged, because every interview you go to, every no you get, there's going to be a yes out there, and every no you get, you should take it and learn from it. I interviewed maybe around 4 or 5 times before Clio at SaaS companies, and when it's so funny, when I actually interviewed at Clio, I started getting more interviews at SaaS companies and going further in them as well. And then it was between 2 choices. I'll just leave the other name out, just for the purposes. But I just made that impulse decision. I was like, hey, let's go with Clio. And here we are today. So kind of getting back on topic right now, really you have to learn from everything you do and learn from all your failures. And that's one of the things I think makes me successful at this job, because you just have to keep moving forward. If not, you're going to get left behind no matter where you are, no matter what aspect of life it is. I think sales is really good in also teaching people about life in general. So I have transferable skills and communication, whatever it may be. But that's really what I want to say. And kind of my whole methodology is that you always need to be learning. You need to be surrounding yourself by people who are better than you, so you can learn from them. Half the things I say on the phone are things I get from other people.
Oh, really? Yeah. Awesome. I mean, you're giving me so much nuggets. I want to go this way, that way, but I want to just touch on this because you just ended on that. Learning. So that being said, what are the best resources that you've found to help you along the way in your sales career? Like I said, you said you're always learning. Tell me more about that.
So the best resources, in my opinion, that I have right now are everyone around me. No matter what position they're in, no matter what title they have attached to them, I believe you can learn something from every single person you meet. It's really about yourself and going out and trying to find that little nugget of information, the little piece of useful advice, and taking that away and then putting that into practice. Just because just because you think something's going to be good, and you think something's going to benefit you, doesn't mean it is going to actually benefit you. And a really important part, taking that piece of advice is then implementing it, putting it into practice. And things I learn, I always write down. I have a list on my phone. I have a list on my laptop, a little note of just little, not even information. I literally have a note here I'm reading out, and it says talk. That's the note title. And it's things I hear from other people. I'll write them down, whether it's a good phrase, some key words, something that I'll use in a demo, something I'll use in a cold call that I've heard someone else say. And as soon as I write it down, it's in chronological order, basically. I don't put dates or anything. But the thing at the top of the list, it's going to be in my face, and I'm going to use it on the next call I do. So putting it into practice is very important.
That's amazing advice. Wow. I like what you're saying about that. I've heard somebody say that they describe their sales, somebody that I heard on a podcast, they describe their sales approach as being very much like, or sales being very much a cut and paste process. Cut what you like from somebody's style and paste it together to make your own style. It seems like you're doing a lot of that. Let's go more into... You've been 7 months here at Clio. You're crushing it, top of the board, in the elite club as far as MRR. What's one thing you wish you knew that at the beginning of your Clio career, if that makes sense, that you could, if I could do it over again with your knowledge and start from the start again?
So one thing, that's hard because there's a lot of things I wish I knew.
or two or three, but
no,
at least one.
Yeah. So something I'd really want to know at the beginning of the career is don't be afraid to ask questions. And again, to everyone, whether it be the VP of sales of your company or the person sitting next to you. It goes back to kind of what I just said, I know, but it really holds true. Just being able to have that communication and willingness to go do that communication. Like personally, I'm not an extroverted person. I consider myself an introvert who's really tried hard to be, outgoing, because for me, I'm not the person to go put myself in kind of extroverted situations. I don't go out there and be like, hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm comfortable around my friends like most of us are, but again, like I really had to push myself, especially along school and even now, to kind of go out there and speak to people. So yeah, definitely the one thing I would want to know when I first started here is that just go talk to everyone. And Clio's a very special place for that because everyone's so friendly. We have the best culture here. I kind of feel bad some days because I wish I had a shittier job before I actually came to Clio, just to appreciate it more. Like I love this job. I think it's so great. It's not easy, but I don't find myself saying, oh my God, I have to go into work today. I mean, some days I wake up and I'm like, I don't want to get up, but being at work, I'm surrounded by people who I enjoy being around, and I'm doing something that I'm enjoying, at least at this point. So, everything's good so far, but that's definitely something I would have wanted to know as a new rep, among some other things I'm sure I can think about.
That's awesome, Michael. I'm really thankful for your insight.